This is news now for August the 16th, 2021. Reaching in from Lagos, Nigeria, I am Deborah Eze. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria. The President Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, and some of his close aides are currently awaiting results of the COVID-19 test conducted on them shortly after the return from Nigeria from London, United Kingdom. They are, however, currently in isolation according to the protocols of international travelers. Recall that Buhari traveled to London on the 26th of July to participate in the Global Education Summit on Financing Global Partnership for Education 2021 to 2025. At the end of the summit, the president stayed back in London for a scheduled checkup, while some member of his entourage returned to the country. Buhari only returned to the country on Friday with some close aides who stayed back with him. The anxiety ahead of the result was caused by the reported cases of the virus among the officials of the Nigerian High Commission in UK, while members of the presidential delegation were still in London. A presidency official has said some officials of the High Commission were reported to have tested positive recently, leading to the shutting down of the High Commission complex. In this regard, it is just natural that those who had interfaced with officials of the High Commission during their stay will be a bit agitated. But it's not really a big deal. 4 sets of the test has been conducted, and we're waiting for the result. Of course, they'll be isolated in accordance with the guidance released by the PSC Steering Committee for International Travelers. And away from that story, health workers under auspices of the Joint Health Sector Union on Sunday said the option of going on strike could not be ruled out if the federal government failed to meet its pending demands. The union said this at the industrial action by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors entered its 3rd week. NAD on August 2nd commenced a nationwide strike to protest what it described as maltreatment of its members. Its demand included payment of death benefit to the families of 19 of its members who lost their lives during the fight against COVID-19, and movement of its members from the government's Integrated Financial Management Information System platform to the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System. On Sunday, Johesu threatened that its members would go on strike. Also, one of its affiliates, the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, warned the federal government not to pay resident doctors hazard allowances higher than those of its members. Besides NANNM, other unions in Johesu are the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals and Medical and Health Workers Union, the Senior Staff Association of University Teaching Hospitals, Research Institutes and Association Institutions, as well as Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria. A senior executive member and spokesman for Johesu, Olumide Akintayo, has said on Sunday, accused the federal government of trying to plunge the country into fresh health crisis, and the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, has since dragged the association before the industrial court based on what he described as failure of the two parties, the federal government and NAD, to reach settlements. And on the African scene, with 155 of 156 constituency reporting, officials' results showed Hichilema had garnered 2,810,757 votes against President Edgar Lungu's tally of 1,814,201 votes. Akinde Hichilema was declared to be president-elect of the Republic of Zambia. Electoral Commission Chairman Justice Isso Chulu said in a television address. The 59-year-old veteran opposition politician beat his longtime rival Lungu following a bruising race held against the backdrop of deteriorating standard of living. This is the 6th time Hichilema, who is 59, has run for the top job, and the 3rd time he has challenged 64-year-old incumbent Lungu. In 2016, Hichilema narrowly lost to Lungu by around 100,000 votes. Lungu, who has been in office for 6 years, faced the electorate amid growing resentment about the rising living costs and crackdowns on descendants in the southern African country. Hichilema enjoyed the backing of 10 opposition parties at Thursday's vote under the banner of his and the largest opposition United Party for National Development. In a statement issued through the president's office, Lungu alleged that his party polling agents were attacked and chased from voting stations. But even as results were still being tallied, street celebrations erupted in parts of the capital, Lusaka, with several hundreds in party regalia, waving flags and rallying outside Hichilema's house. Meanwhile, thousands of Hichilema supporters flocked onto the streets of Lusaka, erupting into songs and dance in support of newly appointed President Akinde Hichilema. A large crowd gathered outside the resort center in Lusaka to celebrate the election results. Gary Nkombo, the UPND's election chairman, said as far as Hichilema is concerned, there is absolutely nothing to celebrate as the country has got a lot of challenges. And on to the international scene, the Taliban has declared the war in Afghanistan over after its fighters swept into the capital Kabul and President Ashraf Ghani fled the country. The streets of Kabul were quiet today, but there were scenes of chaos and panic at international airports as hundreds of Afghans desperate to leave the country flooded the tarmac. The United States and other Western nations were also scrambling to evacuate their diplomats and citizens. A spokesman for Taliban's political office said the group did not want to live in isolation and said the type and form of the new government in Afghanistan will be made clear soon. Mohammed Namin also called for peaceful international relations. Thanks to God, the war is over in the country. We have reached what we were seeking, which is the freedom of our country and the independence of our people. He added, we will not allow anyone to use our lands to target anyone, and we do not want to harm others. The United Nations Security Council will discuss the situation in Afghanistan later on Tuesday. And away from that story, Haiti's hospitals were swarmed on Sunday by thousands of injured residents after a devastating earthquake the day before killed at least 1,297 people as authorities raced to bring doctors to the worst hit areas before a major storm hit. The 7.2 magnitude quake on Saturday destroyed thousands of homes and buildings in the Caribbean nation, which is still crawling its way back from another major tremble 11 years ago and is reeling from the assassination of its president last month. Southwestern Haiti before the brunt of the blow, especially in the region in and around the town of Les Sayes. Haiti's Civil Protection Agency said the toll from the disaster had climbed to 1,297, and the hospitals that were still functioning were struggling to cope as some 5,700 people were injured. In the northwestern city of Jeremiah, another badly hit area, doctors treated injured patients on hospital stretchers underneath trees and on mattresses by the side of the road, as healthcare centers have run out of space. And on the sports scene, Kane absent as Man City, who bid €100 million earlier in the summer, lost at Tottenham. Man City suffered 4 successive defeats without scoring a goal. Gramel Saunas believes Manchester City defeat at Tottenham demonstrated precisely why they are bidding to sign Harry Kane from Spurs this summer. The Premier League champions were beaten 1-0 at Spurs on Sunday. Pep Guardiola's team suffered their 3rd successive defeat in all competitions, with City also failing to score a goal in their previous losses in the Champions League final and last week's Community Shield. Kane, who missed Sunday's game in which Ferran Torres started up front for City, wants to leave Spurs this summer, and City made a €100 million bid for the striker in June. And that wraps it up on AFRICUNIA TV News Now. For more news updates, stay tuned to all our social media pages on Johesu and Pangram. Also visit us on our website on africunia.tv. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment on the comment section. I am Deborah Eze. Many thanks for watching.